Number 13 says use the factor theorem to determine if the binomials given are factors of f of x. Use the binomials that are factors to write a factored form of f of x. So the binomials that it's talking about are these two. We've got two binomials that were given as possible factors of f of x. And we're going to determine if those are factors by dividing f of x by each of those binomials. And if it's a factor, the factor theorem says that we'll get a 0 for the remainder. All right, so let's start by, let's do this by synthetic division. But remember, synthetic division is set up to divide by x minus c. So there can't be a number in front of the x. And here we have something like that. We have 3x plus 2. But what we could do to get that is we could divide that by 3. If we divided that by 3, then we're left with x plus 2/3. And so we would put negative 2/3 out front here. But if we divide, remember this is just a fraction. It's this divided by this. So this over this. If we divide the denominator by 3, or if we multiply the denominator by 1/3, we have to multiply the numerator by 1/3 as well. So we're going to divide each of these coefficients by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. Negative 4 divided by 3 is negative 4/3. Negative 61 divided by 3 is negative 61/3. 22 divided by 3, 22/3. And 40 divided by 3 is 40/3. All right. Now we can do this synthetic division on this factor. So we pull down 1. Negative 2/3 times 1 is negative 2/3. Add those together, you get negative 6/3, which is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2/3 is positive 4/3. And negative 61 plus 4/3 is negative 57/3, which is negative 19. So negative 19 times 2/3 is positive 38/3. And 22/3 plus 38/3 is 60/3, which is 20. And then 20 times negative 2/3 is negative 40/3. And 40/3 plus negative 40/3 is 0. So we got a 0 for the remainder. So 3x plus 2 is indeed a factor of f of x. All right, so now what we've done is we've taken this and we've divided by 3x plus 2. And we're left with this polynomial, which would be x cubed minus 2x squared minus 19x plus 20. And so if x minus 1 is a factor, then it'll be a factor of this result that we got after factoring out 3x plus 2. So let's just continue here. We'll divide this by x minus 1. So we'll put a 1 out here, drop down the 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 1. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. Negative 19 plus negative 1 is negative 20. Times 1 is negative 20. 20 plus negative 20 is 0. So that was a factor as well. So both of these are factors of f of x. And what we're left with is that we started with an x to the 4th, and we divided out an x, and we divided out another x, so we're left with an x squared. So this is x squared minus 1x minus 20. And now we can factor this. We're going to need two numbers that multiply to negative 20 and add to negative 1. So that's going to be negative 5 and positive 4. So that's this factored, but remember, to get to this, we divided out an x minus 1. So that's going to be a factor. And we divided out 3x plus 2. So that's our other factor. So all of this factored is x minus 5 times x plus 4 times x minus 1 times 3x plus 2.